Today, I'm sitting down with one of my current clients, Naomi. She's a mom, a wife, a woman of faith, and someone who 7 months ago decided she was done waiting for the right time to take care of herself. In this conversation, we talk about what it actually looks like to change your habits when life is full and hard and complicated. We talk about what happens when you stop restricting and start fueling your body the way it was meant to be fueled. We talk about confidence and marriage and what it means to model health for your kids. And we talk about legacy, about what we're actually leaving behind for the people who come after us. This is a really honest conversation. I think you're going to hear something in it that hits home for you. And if something in today's episode stirs something in you, I don't want you to just let that feeling pass. If you feel like you're ready, feel like you've been sitting on this long enough and you need someone to come alongside you and help you figure it out, I want you to reach out to me. You can email me directly at support@bakerfamilyfitness.com. You can find me on social media and send me a message there. All of my links are in the show notes. Just tell me you're ready and we'll go from there. And if you're not quite there yet and you feel like you need a little more before you take that step, I have something for you too. It's called the Move Mountains Method. It's a free 5-day training I put together, and honestly, it came from a really deep place for me. It's 5 days, about 20 minutes each, with a workbook to help you start doing the actual work in order for you to start moving into freedom. We cover your why, movement, nutrition, staying consistent when motivation is gone, and building a legacy with your health. You know that verse about faith the size of a mustard seed being enough to move a mountain? That's the first step. And that's why it's called Move Mountains. We know God can move mountains, but we need to just take a little step of faith on our health journey. That's the first step, and it's completely free. So make sure you go to bakerfamilyfitness.com/movemountains. And I hope today's conversation blesses you. Let's get into it. Welcome to Strength for Generations, the go-to podcast for Christian families who want to build strength, restore energy, and deepen connection with God at the center. I'm Christa Baker, Christian health coach, wife, mom, and co-founder of Baker Family Fitness. I'm here to help you honor God with your health and bring peace back to the process, to simplify what it means to build strength in your body, renew your mind, and care for your spirit, all without losing precious time with your family. So grab your coffee and your ribeye, and let's do this His way. All right, my friends, welcome back to the Strength for Generations podcast. Today, I am joined by Naomi Heeg. Well, Naomi is a mom, a wife, a believer, and a member of Baker Family Fitness community. She has been married for 15 years. She works as an EA and a bookkeeper, and she has a heart for helping people. Naomi started her journey with working together, her and I, in December of 2025. Over the past 7 months, she's lost 47 pounds, learned how to properly fuel her body, rebuild confidence, and reached a place where she's finally able to move forward with the back surgery she's needed. But her story is not just about weight loss. It's about a mom who realized she needed to take care of herself because she wanted to be present for her kids, her future grandchildren, and the people she loves. Her journey is a reminder that health isn't about punishment or perfection. It's about learning how to care for the body God has given you and taking it one day at a time. Naomi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you my first question that I ask everybody on the podcast. If you could have a conversation with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Well, that's a good one. I know it sounds kind of like Bible-y, but I wouldn't mind talking to Jesus and just figuring why things have happened in my life and what the reasoning and the purpose for it was.
See, I love that. I know a lot of us are like, well, it's obviously Jesus, right? But we get to talk to him every day, you know? But then you can actually really hear the verbal words. Yeah. What kind of questions would you ask?
Probably like, why did you take my son away? Or why the struggles that we have had in our lives and where we are today.
Well, one day we'll have those answers, girl.
Yeah,
for sure. So why don't we start off by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are. Tell me a little bit more about your family, your work, your faith, what matters most to you.
I'm married to a dairy farmer. It's been a fun and adventurous life being a city girl coming to the country. I have 2 beautiful children. I am almost done my schooling for bookkeeping. I'll hopefully be done in December, and I'm hoping to have back surgery in December as well. That's about it.
Yeah, definitely get into that. I can't wait to talk about that a little bit, what's been going on in your health. So you go to church?
I do go to church. We go to a church, a small little community or Reformed church out this way.
Do you always grow up in church?
Yep. I grew up in a bigger church in the city, and then now in the country, it's a little bit smaller. We're very involved. My husband is an elder. I help run the children's programs at the church, organizing, getting all the curriculum and everything for that. And then I try to get involved in my kids' school. So I work there as the NEA and as a bookkeeper so I can see my kids and be involved in that community as well.
So you're not busy is what you're trying to tell me. I'm doing this, this, and this. Okay, let's look at that schedule. We're going to learn some boundaries. No, I'm just playing. Okay, let's dive into your health story. So why don't you take us back to before you and I had the opportunity to start working together? What was going on with your health? What were you struggling with then?
No matter what I did, even cutting down to I think when I first started with you, I was only eating 1,200 calories a day and nothing was coming off. I was working out, felt like I was starving half the time. And it was just going up and up and up. And I was even having issues with my thyroid. They couldn't get that under control and severe back pain. So sometimes it was very exhausting dealing with the pain.
On top of already such a busy schedule. I think anytime we're in pain, we're just going to be irritable and snappy and
Yeah.
right. I have a nickname of being a little snappy, but only 2 or 3 days a month I'm allowed having that name. Bailey's like, Mom, a little bit snappy. I'm sorry. But yeah, when you're in pain and where you're really struggling, it's a hard place to be, right? So I remember you telling me when we first met, I remember we talked about how much your food you've cut out.
Yes.
How you were eating such low calories and then you were working out, but the workouts, I think you were also getting a lot of pain from them too, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And I think you were running then. You wanted to keep running at that point?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anymore.
So removing foods, eating very little, and then not seeing the scale go in the direction that you want. Can you share with me just what did that feel like for you?
It was disappointing. You try and take everything that you think you know and realize that that's not actually the answer. So I knew I needed to find someone who could give me the answer.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that I got to be a part of that because it's been such a beautiful, beautiful journey working with you. I remember you talking about taking care of yourself so that you can be around for your kids. And I remember you saying hopefully grandkids.
Yes.
At one point. And so what made you decide this is time to finally prioritize your health?
I think I look at my family history and I see my grandmother couldn't really play with us because of her weight, and I see my mom struggling with it as well. And I just didn't want to be like that. I want to be able to get on the floor and play with my grandkids, and maybe not with the back I have, but be somewhat interactive with them.
God's going to give you healing in that area, trust me. And you're doing such a great job and the pain is only temporary.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you always struggle with your health from when you were little?
Yeah. I had a eating problem when I was about 17, 18. I would call it more like starving yourself and then binge eating. But I got myself down to a weight where I felt that I looked good. So I figured that's what you needed to do to stay that way. So I would work out and not eat and had some pretty bad habits back then.
Yeah, I know. I have the very similar ones. I think I remember you telling me about that when we had first connected and, it's common. And I think that's when you and I started talking about what if our kids see that? Imagine our kids are doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd
Just
be
because
pretty upset.
Right. Half of the time we wouldn't say the things that we say about ourselves to our friends or our kids or the people in our lives, but we just continue to talk about ourselves so negatively, right? So what do you think one of your biggest breakthroughs was with the work that you and I because we got to work and you came in, like, if anyone's listening to this, dream client, first of all. So if you're a coach, hands off, she's mine. But you came in and just did the work. You honestly listened really well. You took instruction very well. You're very coachable. And I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I've ever shared with you, but I get alerts when check-ins come in, and yours is always first. Yeah. I'm like, she's organized. She's got this. You built this habit. You never not did the thing. I mean, that's like a dream for a lot of coaches for having, clients do that. And I have a lot of clients that really do because of the way I think I have it structured, but not always. And it just was so enjoyable for me on my end. But what do you think was the thing that really gave you that biggest breakthrough?
I think seeing results. Like, I don't always see it, but because of your app, I can bring up the pictures. So I do the comparison. And even in 2 weeks, the scale hasn't really budged in 2 weeks for me, at least. But in the pictures, you can see toning and you can see more definition of my body coming out. So I think that's pretty cool. Just because the number doesn't switch doesn't mean that there's not some kind of progress.
Amen.
On.
We're going to clip that right there. Say it from the mountaintops.
Yeah, I do think that was my favorite thing is that picture, the pictures, being able to see.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of people struggle with that part. I know I do it a little bit different. Not every coach does weigh-ins or measurements or photos the same way I do. Some people do, some people don't. But when you are able to do that, when you're like, okay, so maybe the scale didn't move, but you came over here and you saw, oh, visibly things have moved. Oh, wait, I have more energy. Oh, I feel stronger. I can have the energy in the morning to play with my kids. Like, those are those non-scale victories that are so important. Yeah. Right? And they're hard to see it in the moment. And then you're like, okay, well, actually 2 weeks did really make a difference. Yeah. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. I agree.
What about with your nutrition? What did you feel like? Because you were restricting pretty hard and you had been advised to restrict pretty hard.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the biggest change when it came with your food?
I'm full. I don't feel hungry. And sometimes I even struggle to eat all the calories you tell me to eat. But I try really hard to get the protein in.
So was that the biggest change that you made?
Eating more protein, yeah.
I know I talk about it a lot on this podcast, and it's interesting because, yes, protein's really important, and then fat. I think a lot of people really glance over that as women, or if I eat fat, it's going to make me fat. And I'm using that as just a air quote word because I don't like to use that language personally. But I think a lot of people just really undereat protein. And so, and I've said this before too, is a lot of people think that they're coming in, they're eating a high protein diet. We're just actually eating more protein than you ever did before. It's like 30 to 35% of your food. So it's not even like, if you, in the grand scheme of when we look at the total amount of food we eat in a day, if we can get 30% of it to be protein, we're in a good place. Right? It's just, I've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like adding egg whites instead of just having 2 eggs, it gives you that little bit more, and you don't get hungry as fast as eating just 2 eggs.
Yeah. And you got all the fresh stuff over at your house too, which is...
Yep, that's the good stuff.
I'm a little jelly sometimes when I see some of your meals. So I also, for anyone listening, I review and I audit the nutrition on a weekly basis, right? Sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, depending on what we're trying to not solve, but we're trying to make better. Remember I'm going in and I'm like, just add a little bit more here and then take over a little bit over there. And we just start pivoting and making those changes. And I would look at Naomi's meals and I could totally come over and eat at your house. Like, this would be so good. I've maybe semi-invited myself over multiple times, but still waiting for that invitation to come in the mail. Right, Mike, if you're listening to this? I remember when you filled out the form for me earlier, you said something about just taking this one day at a time. That was a mindset that was really important to you during this journey. What do you mean by that?
I mean that if you look at, you're going to a barbecue and there's going to be tons of food and snack foods and treats and stuff. If you decide to have a piece of cake, let's say, that doesn't mean tomorrow has to have another piece of cake. It means you had that piece of cake. You got to get yourself back on track. It doesn't mean that you're off track having that cake. but it's just like doing one day at a time, right? And not beating yourself up for what happens today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, don't feel guilty about enjoying your life. And then really just come back to the thing that you know works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were really good at bouncing back. Don't feel guilty about it. We shouldn't. I think a lot of us have connected so much guilt to food because it's this reward thing. Man, it starts when you're a kid. Think about when you're in the doctor's office and you're a kid, you're 2, and you get a shot. What's the first thing they give you when you leave?
A lollipop.
Can I ask you, what was it like for the days that were really hard for you? Because we have hard days and we have to acknowledge the fact that they come. What do you do? What helps you stay consistent?
Just looking at my family, realizing that if I don't take care of myself, I won't be here for them in the long run.
It's pretty deep. It's good. It's like your why, your 2.0.
Yes.
I think your 2.0, I remember we talked about, was being able to get the surgery. And you qualify now. You want to share a little bit about that?
I had to lose 50 pounds in order to get, or close to 50 pounds in order to get the surgery, which they didn't tell me before we applied. Yeah, I got to the weight. Even the surgeons were surprised at how fast I got there. And we're going through the process of planning on when to book the surgery and how to get there and fix up my back.
Yeah, I'm still praying for a miracle. God can do all things, right?
Yes.
And just the hands of those surgeons that get to work on you. You know, I know it's interesting because we can definitely talk about weight loss. I know people have come up to you and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Great job." And I don't want anyone that's listening to this right now to think that this has been easy, because I know it hasn't been. What are the things that you're the most proud of?
I think staying consistent, just getting up every day, working out even when I'm tired and I don't want to do it. And I would prefer to get an extra half hour of sleep before work, but getting up and working out gives me the energy to keep going through the day, for one. Setting that example for my kids. Even my kids are starting to say, "Hey, we need more protein for this meal. We didn't have any protein." So it's like, okay, like the protein thing is kind of holding out. Even my daughter today, I was driving her to a friend's house. She said, "Mom, I think I need more protein. It hurts my stomach when I don't eat it enough."
Bless her little heart. I love her. That's so sweet. I know. My daughter's like, "Don't worry, I got my protein." That's more of the vibe I get over here. Like, get off my back already with this protein conversation.
Oh, yeah. She's excited we're having steaks for dinner. So
yeah,
she's like, "I'm going to have my protein."
Eat steaks and lift weights. That's our motto for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been really amazing. You know, I know that there's been some times, very few of your check-ins have I felt like, okay, she's really struggling. You're always kept such a positive mindset. And for anyone listening, she started right before Christmas. December 15th was your onboarding day, is your first day. So you got through onboarding, and then the week of Christmas was the first week where we were working out, doing the thing. And I'm like, "Girl, don't worry, we'll figure it out." Do you remember that?
Yep. And I still lost weight.
And you're like, "I never went through Christmas like this." And you were full. And after a couple of weeks, you're like, "I don't even crave any of that stuff anymore." And that's where I think a lot of people build this fear, is like, well, I got to give up everything.
Yeah.
When people say, "I'm not going to get baptized yet because I need to go and sin a bunch and then I'll get baptized." Like, no, you get baptized and then you just start making the changes along the way, you know? And I feel like it's so similar with, I think, the mindset around this, but I think it's because a lot of people come really confused.
I think even like figuring out, like, I didn't only need 20 grams of protein in a day. I need at least 155 grams of protein a day. I didn't know that. Didn't even know how to figure that out.
And it's not that hard, but it's not taught. So then now what you're doing with your daughter is you're teaching her what it takes to build a healthy, balanced, well planned out meal. And what do you think she's going to do with that?
Hopefully continue it through her life so she doesn't have the same struggles that I have.
Bringing in that new generational wisdom. And God can do that, and He'll bless that, I believe. How's your confidence changed?
I think I'm getting more confident, I would say. I think at times, like, I have to bring those pictures out to remind myself that I have lost the weight. I can get things easier. I don't get out of breath that fast.
You got pep in your step, you know? That's so good. And okay, so let's break it down for a second. So eating more,
Yes.
running less.
Yes,
Okay?
it's true.
What are women told to do?
Work
Cardio.
out more. Yeah.
Cardio, burn it off, restrict. Whenever I see people's plan, I'm like, no, you need to eat more. It's not enough food. And so the body just kind of holds on because it doesn't feel safe.
Yeah. Even walking for 10 minutes after every meal. I believe you told me that in that first month.
Yeah.
Even that helps. Just get your body moving after eating instead of sitting on your bum.
Helps your digestion, helps to regulate your blood sugar. And what do we struggle with the most? Gut issues and blood sugar issues. Our country is pretty sedentary. You know, it's just those small little tweaks that you make along the way. The back surgery thing, knowing that you can do this, what does that mean for you? What is that going to do for your future?
I would say give me a little bit more pain-free of life. Like some days it's pretty hard to get going. Even with that, it'll give me more confidence and the ability to do more stuff.
Tell me about the support. You have a very supportive husband.
I really do.
You have a mic, I have a mic.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about him and his support and what that's been like? Because I got to admit, on my end, it's been really, really cool. Even having that conversation with the three of us that day, you know, not a man of many words, but yeah, this guy's a good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. Well, he joined in with me. So not that he needed to lose any weight, but he kind of bulked up a bit, got some more muscle, toned out. He doesn't really care what I make as long as he has food. So he's fine with like steak. He even helped me go through all the Christmas and Easter. And we threw out all the candy for the kids.
I remember that. And he was so supportive and it was so cool. And he gets to eat so much food. I want
Yes, he
metabolism
does.
to be a little bit like his.
Yeah. Yeah, he can eat nonstop.
I run into a lot of people that are stuck. When people come to me, typically they're stuck. They're like, I don't know what the heck to do. This isn't working. I mean, I always feel pretty honored when somebody wants to work with me. I don't take it very lightly. I think you probably see why, because of how involved I am in your lives. Like it is a very intimate relationship in a sense because we're just so trusting. We're sending these pictures in, we're weighing our body, which, man, I might even hate weighing myself because a lot of people hate weighing themselves. There's a lot of like trauma that can come with all of this stuff. People have tried everything. They've done the diets. They've started over. They feel like nothing's working. Their hormones are broken or someone told them they were broken. What would you say to someone who is where you were before you got started?
I think sometimes bringing an outside perspective helps. I also think I really enjoyed the fact that you always brought Christ into everything so that it's not whether or not you or I can do it, it's whether or not we can rely on Christ to help us to keep going, right? Even when you're at the bottom of the bottom, he's the one that carries us through all of that. So I think, you're always sending us verses and on the app. I really enjoyed that. And everything, like even when you respond, it's Christ centered. So it's not even about me. It's about glorifying the Lord at the end of the day.
Oh, I feel like crying right now because it's like everything I've ever wanted to do with my life. It's a really cool opportunity to speak that into people's lives. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of takes the pressure off me as a coach a little bit too, because I'm just trying to help guide. I can't dictate. I can't be in the kitchen with you 24/7. I can't be in I have my own struggles. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have binging issues. I binged for a long time. I'm just getting it under control. Like it's taken me a long time and it was connected. I'm realizing what it was connected to, and I'm realizing what I know I need to do differently in those moments. But I have a coach. I have a coach for that same reason, because I know how important it is to get that outside view, right? And thank you for sharing that. I really do appreciate that, because I think it just really does make me feel like my purpose is what he's asked me to do. When you think about the future, what are you most excited about?
Keep going. I would still like to lose another 40 to 50 pounds. I think that would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Being healthy for your family?
Yes.
Most importantly, I know. I think sometimes we define ourselves with numbers and looks and pictures and stuff like that. But I do think that when we are in a healthier weight, because I remember you said something pretty tough with me. You had your labs reviewed and you had your numbers, and I think the doctor said something to you, and you're like, so mad at myself that I let it get this bad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember saying that to me?
Yep.
Do you remember what I said to you? I said to you, that was then. We're not living in a place that is not your identity.
Yeah.
We don't
Yes.
identify ourselves just as this number on a scale. We do at times just use that to track data. It's just, hey, is this plan working? What's going on? If that thing doesn't change, well, maybe the plan has to change. That's how I like to view it. But I remember you were struggling in that moment, and I'm just so happy to see that you've come out of that. And I know that that was a little bit of a valley moment that we had to get through together. And I remember it standing out to me pretty significantly. That hurts my heart so much. I don't want her talking about herself like that. Man, I'm telling you, girl, as a coach, sometimes it's hard because I am so emotionally connected. When somebody's not winning or they're hurting or they're struggling, I have to like arm myself at times and be like, okay, don't take it personally. How can you help them through that?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, I have one final question for you. We are all given this responsibility here on this side of heaven. But when you look back on your life, what do you hope people remember you for?
That's a good one. I think that I didn't give up, and I always tried my best at everything I did. Right? Because at the end of the day, I want to glorify the Lord in what I do.
Amen, sister. I'm with you on that one, girl. Thanks so much for sharing your story. I am so grateful that, you took your time to come here. So I'm really grateful that you stepped over a line of fear and came and did this with me today, because your story is a very powerful one. And I think that when others know about what you've done, the sacrifices that you've made and what you've been able to do, you're caring for yourself, you're rebuilding your confidence, you're making these healthy choices for your family, for the generations that are going to come, one and then another one and then another one, right? God will bless that generation because of the work that you're currently doing. And I think it's really powerful. So thank you for reminding people that change happens one day at a time. Thanks for tuning in to Strength for Generations. If this podcast encouraged you, it would be a blessing if you took a quick minute to leave a 5-star review. It helps more families hear this message and find hope for their health and faith journey. It lights me up to know this podcast is helping you. And if you feel led to share this episode, text it to a friend, post it to your stories, or send it to someone on your heart. God might use it to encourage someone who really needs it today. And don't forget to eat steaks, lift weights, love Jesus, and keep doing it His way.